Greetings, fellow educators. It's my pleasure to connect with you today and to share on something very special that I've studied last week about Jean Piaget. Jean Piaget is the philosopher that I have chosen to do some research on, further research on, so that I may fully understand his work and cognitive psychology, particularly his theory of cognitive development. But Jean Piaget, far beyond the cognitive development for which he is known, Jean Piaget wanted to be known as an epistemologist, as a genetic epistemologist. So Jean Piaget is a known name. Is a known name in the arena of education and psychology. It's a great pleasure for me to share with you today, and I hope you will gain something from my very short presentation today. I think I got to understand that Piaget has a particular understanding and exposure that he had on children, because he used his own family to explain his theory, to establish his theory. His mom wasn't well. His mom was had some issues, some mental problems, and he also used mom as a platform to help him develop his theory. But most of all, he observed his own children to develop his cognitive thinking. Now, Jean Piaget present children to have a different approach to connect to knowledge, have a different approach to understand the world. Children question the world differently, and children are constantly constructing the world, constantly evaluating, constantly questioning the world in the process of creating, constructing their own world. And that is a very important thing. They do not question the world the way adults do. So they have their own little world, and the way they transact, they question, they analyze in order to construct their understanding of the world. That is powerful. So I got to understand all that with Piaget. But one thing that remained, that struck me this week, was the fact that it was on Piaget's view on cultural diversity. It was striking to me that Piaget used his sample, his children, and also few schools that he visited in Geneva, where he questioned a few children, to establish his notion on cultural diversity, and he considered his samples as universal. So when I first saw that, I kind of became, apprehensive, because to me, if every culture is different, every child is different, it's important to try to understand each child in their own world, in their own culture and environment. So culture also is like a child. Culture has different elements, different exposure, different realities that need to be studied for its own in order to understand it for what each culture for what they are and their distinctive way. So when I heard that Piaget expressed that he considered his samples in Geneva, his children, as a universal sample, I had problem with that. Even though I love Piaget, I support his theory, but I criticize. I'm a strong critic of his approach to cultural diversity, because each child must be studied in their own, each category of children, each nationality of children would need to be studied in their own world, in their own environment, in their own cultural reality, in order to fully understand how to educate them, how to relate, and to really impart them with whatever knowledge that we have to teach. So in that sense, I criticize Piaget's cultural diversity approach, just like Vygotsky also has problem with it. But I didn't even need to see Vygotsky's point. I already had issues with the fact that he tried to universalize his children as a sample for cultural to understand culture and diversity as a whole. So that poses problem for me, but it was an opportunity to understand that. To understand, regardless of how much a philosopher is known, he has a lot of he has notoriety. He's known. He has done a lot of work. There can still be loopholes where we can look at to further knowledge and to expose new approach to understanding notions that he has already started. So it's important. So no theory is everlasting. So we can use theories to build new theories. Thank you very much. It was my pleasure to share with you today, and I hope you learned something from my analysis. May God bless you. Bye bye.